Now, our next guest is a comedian, actor, writer, drinking partner to Helen McGinn, and now podcaster to his CV, releasing his first ever Audible comedy series, Safe Space, earlier this week. It's Jack Whitehall. Jack!
Oh, so good to see you.
Lovely to be here.
And you've got your own podcast.
A podcast on Audible as well, which is where all the really sophisticated podcasters go to do their podcasting. Stephen Fry, Idris Elba, yours truly.
Dermot O'Leary.
Dermot O'Leary.
No!
Oh, yeah, it's a good gang to be in.
How did it come about? Tell us about it.
So it's called Safe Space, and it's a place for guests to come and share their most embarrassing stories, which is kind of what I've been doing for the last 10 years of my life as a stand-up comedian, having embarrassing things happen to me and then going on stage and talking about them in front of an audience. So I thought I'd give that, service to my guests and listeners.
It's a great service. Yeah. It's kind of like a clinic, isn't it? They come in, they phone you first, don't they? And they tell you they've got a bit of an issue.
Exactly.
You get them in, you've got your mate there.
Yeah, yeah.
And you just...
We just have a laugh and we move on from it.
There's no judgment.
Exactly.
You just let them get it off their chest.
And how reluctant or otherwise are people when they first turn up? Are they, I mean, they know what they're coming for, obviously. Yeah. But do you have to kind of eke it out of them, or are they pretty willing to share?
I think they're pretty good. I think it's one of those things where with podcasts, people just, like, fall into it feeling like it's just a conversation, so it's the best medium for something like this. Yeah. And also, I think the more, like, I start sharing stories about stuff that's happened to me, that, I think, loosens people up a bit, and by the end of the podcast, that's when you get the most outrageous stories.
You do? I feel like in the last, 5 minutes, that's where you get all the juice.
Exactly. When people have let their guard down.
Totally.
And maybe they've had a little drink.
Did you find that most of the celebrities were quite guarded?
Well, yeah, I mean, the Americans tend to be a little bit more guarded than the Brits. Like, I think Brits
media training.
tend to... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the media training goes out the window with Brits. Yeah. And so I think we found some people, have taken a little bit of time to warm up, but it's been really fun and, really revealing as well. There's been some cracking stories.
It is funny, that, because the Americans that are the less guarded are, I think, the ones that are more beloved by the Brits, because when they come over and they tell a great story, and they're not worried about, the implications, or not worried about how it affects them. Like, you immediately warm to them far more. There's nothing worse than when you get that kind of anodyne kind of... You see the shutters come down, they give you the answer that you've seen a million and one times in other interviews. Yeah. Sorry, that's just an observation.
You had some great guests, though. Russell, I was listening to Russell Howard last night. That was a really nice guest.
He's great.
So nice.
He's so funny, and I've known Russell for a while, so he came on and he was fantastic. And then we've had Emily Atack, we had Judd Apatow, he was great, Whitney Cummings. It's been really fun.
Who's on the dream, on the sort of the team sheet?
I think Alison Hammond. Pretty spectacular guest.
Oh
my God.
Have enough hours in the day.
Yeah, I know.
Space for
a bumper special.
I've got a few stories I can tell you. I've got some good ones. But my favourite story that you told, I was listening to one of your stories, it was about a mouth guard, and your mom was so angry with you. She was literally so angry with you because you'd lost your mouth guard at school. So she literally went to school. Yeah. And tell me the rest of the story.
So I had a retainer, and I put it down on my tray and sent it through to the canteen,
and they do cost a lot of money.
They do cost a lot of money, and I said, I'm really sorry, Mum, but I've lost it. And she drove an hour and a half to my boarding school and started going through the bins in the canteen to try and find this retainer, ripping open bin liners. She was like, did you eat beef stroganoff yesterday? I was like, no, I think it was a lasagna. She was like, wrong bin liner, and then she'd rip open another one. She found it, wrapped up in a serviette at the bottom of this bin liner, washed it off and then gave it back to me, stick it in. So I was like, I've got really straight teeth, but I had no friends because I had the most horrendous breath for the rest of that term.
I love your mum.
It's so great. I've met her a couple of times.
Both of your parents are, though.
I know.
They're amazing.
Yeah. Also, another story about your mum, you turning up sort of drunk and you didn't have enough money to...
that's not... She told that story. I tried to get it edited out, when I was still living at home, and I came back home, and I just walked in drunk at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then 10 minutes later there was a ring on the doorbell, and it was the cab driver, and he was like, where's he gone? He hasn't paid for his fare. And my mum was like, oh, God, I'm so sorry, I'll go and get it. And you need to get the soiling charge as well, because I think I'd thrown up in the...
the soiling charge.
£60, because I had a little bit of an accident in the cab as well. The worst thing was my mum didn't have any cash in the house, so she had to get into the soiled cab and drive to an ATM machine to get out the money to pay for the cab that I'd soiled.
Amazing.
And she still loves me.
Oh,
There's no other story tops your mother's story.
I know, she's unbelievable. I should just do a whole podcast about her.
Your mum, yeah.
Who could not love you,
nominate her for a Pride of Britain award. Vorderman.
We have to talk about one of your embarrassing stories. Was when you, and bear in mind, this is our world every single time we do this show.
Yeah.
But it's when you came on this morning and the gear changed between...
Oh, no,
I think it was Vanessa. Have we got it? Can we have a look?
Vanessa Phillip.
Vanessa Phillip, she's over there.
This is like the dream. Everyone's here.
Everyone is here.
Come to Glasgow. Vanessa's coming. Oh. Les Dennis will be there. It'll be great.
Yeah, we'll have a night out.
Thank you very much indeed. And indeed, right after the break, Vanessa will be taking your calls on dealing with the loss of a pet. OK, so we're going to be talking about that, and I think there'll be a few tears about that right after this very short break. Thank you.
Didn't realise it was such a sad item. I'm sorry. So awkward. I just steamed in there, like flirting with her, giving her the eye. No one said she was on to talk about animal bereavement. Like, give me a heads up.
Welcome to our world.
Oh, so bad. Every time I think I'm cursed with this morning. Earlier on today, I was having a cheeky cigarette in my dressing room, and it got caught by the producer.
And the alarm went off. Listen, man, lovely to have you with us. Thank you so much. Jack Whitehall's Safe Space, available now exclusively
I love it.
on Audible.
Love seeing you,
It's a
seeing
pleasure.
Christopher Biggins. This is a joy.